What is going on, guys? Welcome to Season 2, Episode 5 of Knights of the Square Tablet. And I think you guys will notice that it's just myself and Scotty Games here tonight. Unfortunately, Dave will no longer be on the podcast. We all, with a very, very heavy heart, have to say that Dave will no longer be with us. He was such a big contributor to the podcast, to the Chivalry 2 community, and of course he's a good friend of ours, and we're all super sad to see what happened. We love Dave and we miss Dave.
Yeah, I mean, he always had all the info on everything. You know, we're gonna we're gonna have to do our own research now.
Me and Scotty are gonna have to pick up our game on knowing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna miss him dearly, and it's insane. It's we still can't really believe it.
Yeah, we're both so saddened by everything. And we did put together a charity stream with the community guys. We raised over $7,000 for mental health awareness. And if you guys still want to get in on that, the merch for Coach Soter Dave, all proceeds go directly to charity, is currently being modeled by Scotty Games, and that'll be down in the description below, and it'll be available forever. And oh my God, guys, no one bone up right now. No one bone up. But
yeah, the shirt
if you guys want to
great,
support
dude.
Dave,
I think it looks great. You guys put together nice little merch, like really fast, and all the proceeds go to what again? The suicide prevention.
Yep, directly to suicide prevention charity.
Awesome.
So, all right, now into our Shiv stuff. Okay, we have some. I think we have a good cast plan for you guys. We finally got a little bit of a mini patch here from the developers. So big news. Subreddit, the internet, Discord has been going crazy about cheaters, I'd say, for the last few months. It's gotten a little bit out of control in the game. Anywhere you go, there's people flying around. So it was getting pretty oppressive, and the developers finally put in some anti-cheat measures in the game. Came out this week, actually. Scotty, you seen any improvements so far?
I mean, well, NA, I feel like, I don't know. Did you ever encounter a lot of cheaters? I mean, I've encountered maybe like 5 over my lifetime of Shiv, and they're pretty obvious, and they usually get booted. So it wasn't like that big of a deal. But I understand in EU they really needed this. So I mean, I haven't seen much difference, but I honestly think it's great that it's in there, because now, has anyone ever accused you of cheating before, like new players? It's happened to me, and I'm
quite a bit.
Yeah, so it'll be good for that. But honestly, it was much needed. I haven't seen any cheaters, so but it wasn't that common for me to see them anyway. So
yeah. I haven't seen any post patch or update, but I've only played a few times. But I know before the update, some of the NA streamers were starting to occasionally get either stream sniped by the speed hackers. I know Herringstone had to move lobbies quite a few times because he's getting followed around. So some of that from the EU was kind of creeping in to the NA with the region select.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy that the developers actually put something out there, that we're working on it, we see the issues, and we're taking actual steps. We're not just acknowledging you guys, we're taking steps to make it better. So I think that was really good to see.
Yeah, it seems pretty smooth too. I know that some people were having issues like loading the game and stuff, because maybe something locally was messing with the anti-cheat software, but
they gotta take those cheats off their PC.
Yeah.
That's what they gotta do.
Anyone having trouble, they're probably cheaters. No, there was some genuine problems, I think. So, but I don't know. I've only heard a few people kind of complain through the stream about it, but yeah, everything seems to be great, and it's finally in. And kudos. I think.
Yeah.
It's good.
So here's my understanding of what they did, and I had to go to Sunder to get all this information. But apparently they added easy anti-cheat to every single platform. So there is now some form of anti-cheating method. And what that's going to do is, those like the cheat engine hacks, the free ones that you just Google. You Google on Chivalry 2 hacks, they pop up, you install them, pretty brain dead. And those things were running rampant because it was so easy to do.
Right.
What it's going to do is it's going to eliminate that step of cheats for the most part. So the stuff that's super low budget is mostly going to get flagged right away. Now, I heard what it's not going to do is the people who are buying cheats from those websites, the more advanced ones, or making their own, it's going to have a lot more trouble noticing and getting rid of those. But I think at least it's like a good band-aid on the situation to get rid of the ones who are putting in no effort, right, and get them out of there. So I think that's good to see.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and if there's, any more, I'm sure it'll be fairly easy to notice. And just boot them from games and, having good report systems. They also reminded everyone how to report cheaters when they see him, go to Chiv Mail, blah, blah, blah.
And I believe they had a little blurb that you can use the in-game report feature now, too. So
Yeah.
hopefully that's up and functioning, because that would make it so much easier.
Yeah, was that, not even working at all or something? It was.
I don't think it worked. I don't think it worked.
Yeah, okay, well, there we go. That's much
Yeah.
easier than going to Chiv Mail. Just right-click, report.
Yeah, and it just, again, it's taking steps to getting people out or making it more difficult for them to do it, because gamers don't like effort. So if you make them make enough effort, they probably are going to stop doing it. And I would say now, once you get the no effort ones out, it'll be easier to track down the ones who have the more legit advanced hacks, because you won't see as many of them, so they'll be probably reported a lot quicker.
Right.
Now, I did hear the main issue. It's going to be steps to getting the hackers out of the game. And, every gaming company right now is losing the battle with hackers. I think outside of Valorant, it's pretty much top to bottom. You go Warzone, Escape from Tarkov, PUBG.
was one of the worst, too, about
Yeah.
the cheats, too, right? Yeah.
Like, so every game is losing right now. And the place that Shiv 2 is losing is there's still I guess, a breach in the system where Game Pass, you can make unlimited amounts of accounts. So...
Yeah.
So what will happen is someone will get their Game Pass account banned, and 5 minutes later they just make a new Game Pass account, and they're back in doing the same thing. So I think that's going to be the big issue that needs to be solved, because once that happens, when a hacker gets banned, they're going to have to buy the game again.
Yeah.
And at some point, gamers be broke as hell. So you make them spend money, and at some point they'll stop.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's interesting. So that's how they would just come back and...
So that's
crazy,
why...
huh?
So that's why if you see like the Shiv devs, they'll be, we banned 3,000 hackers, but they might have banned that one person 500 times, and they just keep coming back.
Yeah,
because there's nothing stopping them from making a new account. So that's I think the next step. But kudos to the dev for making some steps towards getting these people out of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
And now we segue into our next topic. Myself and Scotty, we got to play in a pretty wild event during the Soter Dave charity stream, where we raised over $7,000 for mental health awareness. We tried the first ever 50 versus 50 Chivalry 2 match, and it was pretty nutty. It was wild.
First of all, thanks for putting that together and everyone else involved with that. It was probably one of the most epic sessions of Shiv ever. Just like everyone was pretty top tier players, and like everywhere you look, there's like 3 dudes that are just like top tier players that you're like 1vxing. I thought it was amazing, but it had there was definitely some issues of like overcrowding. The maps are obviously not designed for 100 people, but like I remember the Line Spire game and being in that courtyard with the horse statue, and it just felt like an actual invasion.
100%.
Like it felt more realistic in terms of like seeing a medieval siege on a city, with the amount of people. But like, damn, was it tough? What was your experience with it?
No, you're right. That was, if you wanted to get what the feeling of what it was to actually beat a medieval melee, this was definitely it, because you had all highly trained chads everywhere, shoulder to shoulder. There was nowhere to move, just swinging and throwing shots at each other. And I thought it was a lot of fun to play through the entire event. And I thought what was great, too, I felt like since everyone was there, the community kind of rallied together for a really good cause. No one really cared about who won or who lost, how they did. Everyone was just there having a good time and supporting. So I think it was a great event total. And I thought the 50 versus 50 was interesting. I definitely think one that it was possible.
Yeah,
was interesting.
I was just excited that it was working because
Yeah.
it wasn't at first, and I was like, oh no, like, are we gonna be swinging through each other all night? But
Well, I told people going in, like, I have no idea what to expect. The servers, it might blow up, they might not blow up. So we did blow up the Nitrado servers, which
wasn't
if you guys
that
didn't
much
get
of
to
a
watch the
surprise.
stream, yeah, if you guys didn't get to watch the stream, we first tried the event on the Nitrado custom servers, and it ran almost passably up until about 80 versus 80, and then it got unplayable for everyone. Like the desync was absolutely nuts, and we know the Nitrado servers in general struggle a little bit. Like I would say, even the 64 player experience is well subpar for $80. And what happened then is it was unplayable, and Chivalry 2 developers to the rescue. Moon and Connect were in the event and participating, and they got us a custom torn banner server, which, guys, it ran 50 versus 50. I would say very close to what you get from a normal 32 versus 32.
Yeah, there was definitely still a little bit of hiccups here and there, but it was surprisingly really smooth, and it was just insane to see everyone, and it handled all the good players, because sometimes I feel like when there's a lot of good players on a server, there's like more going on, so there's more calculations and stuff. So I'm surprised that it held 100 to.
I think what happens there is because you'll see this in the Nitrado servers or even in just the regular server browser servers. When you have all people who are mostly playing the objective, everyone is in one spot. And on pubs, everyone's all off in different directions.
Yeah.
So it breaks things down, makes it a little easier on the servers. And in the legit player matches, everyone's cooped together. So that's where you usually get the slowdowns and those choke points and stuff. But I didn't even really get that.
Yeah, I want to see how 100 v 100 or 50 v 50 would be, like in a regular like matchmaking instance, because our server was sort of, like it was like the best players in the game. But how would it feel like just loading up into matchmaking, daily play? You go in there.
I mean,
and I want to see it there too. So
what a great limited time event that would be, right?
Yeah,
like, throw it
dude,
out
that
there
would
for like
be
48 hours, see what happens.
that would be an actual good limited time event. No more volley.
Now that we know it's possible.
Yeah. I wonder how
Like-
expensive it is for that server.
I have no idea.
This is
well,
the
if
kind
a
of stuff
Nitrado one
Dave-
that blows up is $89.99 a month, I'd imagine that one's a little bit more.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they just, whipped up their own EC2 instance on Amazon that was like super high powered. Just slapped the game on there. Deployed. I don't know. I would have to see the cost, and if I have to buy the next battle pass for 100 v 100 server, I'll do it.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna buy the battle pass no matter what. But what I was also surprised, so the servers, they felt a little tight. I mean, obviously the maps weren't made for this amount of people, but I also didn't think it was like unplayable.
Yeah,
for the area.
I didn't think it was unplayable, but it was definitely like
it was more congested. It was more congested as you'd expect. But I thought it was able to play with that amount of people.
Yeah, and I also think like what's weapons that just did high amounts of damage. I found myself switching to greatsword and battle axe more than playing like longsword, just because you needed to actually just eliminate people, because the longer that they're alive, it was like it's insane because you can't handle the amount of people in the 1vx's like in 64.
There's no finesse in those things.
Right. Like in regular 64 man, it's you can kind of like battle a few people and not like have to kill everyone right away, but in 100 v 100 it was like I have to kill you or else I'm gonna die.
The amount of things you have to process of blades coming at your head, teammates stepping in front of you.
Yeah,
it was
the
definitely
team damage, dude.
Yeah.
Fire pots. Surprisingly, I thought I was gonna get some huge horns, But it turns
Yeah,
out that
yeah.
when you have 100 people and no one's playing archer and everyone's a knight, that everyone's blowing their horn constantly.
I
So.
got a 7 something, but I was really hoping we'd see like a Chivalry World record there, like
Yeah,
a
like a
$2,000
3K horn or
2000.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be
I
sick.
thought that was gonna happen too, but yeah, I mostly got like 300s
Yeah.
because there's so many people to heal.
Yeah, it was
But-
nuts.
And what I think is interesting is now that you know that's possible, would it be a good thing moving forward in the future of Chivalry? At some point, Chivalry is 3 years old. We're probably getting to the point where in the next year or so, Chivalry 3 will be announced. Is this a way you think you go with the game?
I think it would be cool to kind of have it in matchmaking as just like, I don't know. You would have to have a separate mode for it, right? Like you can't. It would be sick if you could play 64, like the 64 man, and then maybe one of the maps was like 100 man.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like they're gonna have to really design maps for 100 man and have a separate category for it, which will split up the base. But if they could figure out how to mesh it into just regular matchmaking, and maybe have like 1 or 2 maps that you don't have to switch to another game mode for, I think that would be kind of cool. If you kind of get my drift here.
I think if they went towards, hey, we're going to do 100 players in a match, it would be for the next version of Chivalry, and I think that would be then the flagship mode. If that's what they decided to
exactly. So it's like, is it worth it? And then they also have to make sure that, I mean, if you have a map that's designed for 100 man, it can't feel like 64 man, right? Because then you might as well just have 64 man maps. Because if the map is too big and spread out, but you have 100 people in it, what would be the difference, right? So you see what I'm saying?
I think what it gives is it gives developers flexibility though in their map design. So you make some maps that are spread out and they feel like what we have now.
Yeah.
And then you can congest it a little bit and have some maps that feel like absolute chaos.
Yeah.
And then you could even go even grander in the scale and have some that feel a little bit more intimate than the ones now where you're getting mostly in smaller scale battles. And I kind of think of like the battlefields where you're conquering points and stuff and having multiple people go in different directions. I feel like there would be some variety that could happen.
Yeah, you're totally right. You're totally right. So it could be the new flagship mode. Now, the player base would have to be fairly larger for something like that. Or I don't know what the numbers look like, but to fill up servers, that could also be a problem, right? On the dead hours of the night.
That's a good point.
Playing a 100-man map with like what 30 people, that would be
So walking simulator.
Yeah, it could be a walking simulator. Who knows? But
well, the thing is, if they release a game, they'll have players initially. It's always the after that.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be something that I'm sure people would love it initially. People who get into Shiv always really enjoy the chaos. It's just always how long they stick to the game. That would definitely be a good point of contention as they move forward.
Mm-hmm.
Is would it kill the life cycle of the game?
Yeah. That's just bringing up points that the devs would have to think about. But I wouldn't want it though? I don't know. It's sick.
I'm interested in it. I before playing that match, I would have said I'm probably not interested in it. That it might get a little bit too chaotic. It might allow individual players to have less influence on the game, and it'd be a lot harder to find those more skill-based fights and a lot more just kind of swinging and hoping for the best.
Mm-hmm.
But after playing it, it wasn't that bad, and I think it could be something that the devs move towards with good map design. My cautionary tale, though, is I always think of Battlefield 2042, which is probably the worst FPS I've ever played. But when they released that game, Battlefield was always 32 versus 32, like Shiv is now. They moved up to 64 versus 64, and it was disastrous chaos.
Really?
Yeah, you feel like you have no influence over the game. Every time you spawn, you're immediately blown up by a helicopter.
Yeah.
It felt like ass. It felt like ass. And they eventually went back to 32 versus 32 mid-life cycle. They kind of just did away with it.
Yeah, well, Chiv has that opportunity to actually do it because you're not going to get blown up every 2 seconds. Archers are limited. Maybe you'll get caddied a few times, but it's that's the beauty of Shiv is that it's not an FPS, and
Yeah, no,
it has
100%.
total the opportunity to do that. But
You also have a little bit longer time to kill generally.
yeah, time to kill is great.
Than military FPS games.
Yeah. Spawning and getting sniped by a sniper is not that fun, but in
Yeah,
Shiv,
yeah, no. You know my feeling. One shot mechanics in games in general, I feel like are the fun police, right?
yeah, I'm all about a bit higher time to kill. You know, it gives you room to play around and have more skillful
100%.
fights.
100%. So we'll see, but I think it's definitely a cool option, and it was great to see that it could actually be done.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who knows if we'll ever get another one of those events in Chivalry 2? That might have been a special one-off.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
with
I
how
hope
much
we do. I hope we do. But
you know what our saving grace here might be is that we had developers in the server who are also having a really good time.
yeah, yeah,
You know, so
yeah, and it was for a good cause, and I don't think we'll get that special treatment much more though with putting up another 100-man. We're stuck with Nitrado servers.
oh god, as I got to channel my inner Dave here, but Nitrado should be ashamed, man.
Yeah.
They should be ashamed. Like seeing those servers side by side.
Yeah.
Like what a scam for
Yeah.
$80 a month. You got a server that can't even run a 64-player match. And then Torn Banner's got these squirreled away servers that can run 100-player matches. Like
yeah, easy.
that's just trash.
yeah.
Playing
dude.
in them back to back showed how bad the Nitrado servers are.
Yeah, yeah, and unfortunately, they probably don't want to manage, you know, us getting our own servers. That's why you go to something like Nitrado, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I wish they would
Unfortunately,
figure
the
it out.
experience with Nitrado is so shitty right now that at some point no one's going to go to Nitrado unless they can quickly turn it around.
Yeah.
Because it's player experience, right? Like you want to get the same experience you are on the Torn Banner servers in the private servers, and those are people on the private servers are probably the ones looking for an even better experience.
Right.
So if I'm getting a private server, I want my server to run, you know, extremely well.
Yeah, dude, $80, it should be able to run 100 people, no problem. And if we just had one community server that could run 100-man, that was just up, that would be cool.
Oh my god. Well, that's what we would have expected with the private server is giving the community the options to do these sorts of things, and none of it's really happened because they're either buried on the server browser or the clans don't keep them up all the time. No one joins them, or just like everyone's like they're so shit, I'm not going to even bother. I'm just going to the regular server browser servers. Like there's always a TO 64 player NA East going on with all Chads pretty much every night, but they use the official Torn Banner servers. They don't use a custom server because
Right.
it runs better.
Right.
But
Sag.
the big point of contention in those things is every time team death matches up, everyone just bitches and moans for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, myself included.
Yeah. True.
So if you have those private servers at an equal level, you get rid of that. But
Yeah, man, we'll
I
see. It was
hopefully they do better.
yeah, it was a ton of fun. I'm just glad that we got to do it. Definitely the most epic game of Shiv ever.
Yeah, it was definitely a monumental game for the Shiv community, and it's so good to see so many people come out and support. People always say, "Oh, it's just video games," and I think this kind of shows that it's more than just a game to a lot of people. It's the community, the people you meet along the way. Everyone's so close and loves
Right.
each other so much. So it was cool to see that. It's not just a game to everyone. For a lot of people, it's great release and social interactions, and everyone came together for all the shit the slasher genre gets for being so toxic. There's a
Yeah,
lot of good
dude.
ones out there too.
Yeah. No, for sure. I agree. It was wonderful. And yeah, shouts out to everyone who helped put all that together, and I'm glad that we were able to raise money, and just amazing. It was great, dude. It was great. I don't know. The Shiv 2 community can sometimes not be toxic, which is good.
There's some good ones out there, man. There's some good ones out there, and I think that's the core of the community, and that's why so many people stick with the genre and the game, and you got so many hardcores who stay with it is because of the communities, the different clans, the different comp communities. So you love to see all that support that everyone gave. And if you guys still want to support, remember in the link down below, you can get that 6 shirt that Scotty's got on right now. That all goes 100% to charity.
I'll show it off again.
There you go.
Is it backwards? Oh, it's probably backwards in the video.
Oh no!
For the mirror.
Well, I was gonna say, man, we should have got Scotty the tank top.
Yeah.
But...
Oh, is there a tank top one? I just saw the
No, I didn't make one. I
okay.
didn't make one. I'm thinking now. I'm like, damn, I should put the option there.
No, you need that.
That's
You're
right,
buffer
baby.
than I am.
That's
I'm
right.
not buff.
That's
I'm
right.
just.
Well, that was a one-time deal, just because Bubs harassed me so much. All right. Guys, I don't know if we have anything else to add, but I think we're going to wrap up the official here. Again, click down below if you want to get the 6 shirt, not skirt, that Scotty's wearing. He might be wearing a skirt. But love to everyone for supporting, and you guys know we'll be back with the next time we get some solid Shiv news over here to talk about. So the discussion will continue. All right. Love to all. We'll hang around for some questions if anyone wants, and peace out.